Dave and Billy, thanks, guys, and happy holidays to both of you two. In Tennessee, that's a big comeback for them from how they looked the other night in the Jimmy V Classic. So a big victory there. Brad Nessler and Jay Billis along with you here from Freedom Hall on a cold night in Louisville, Kentucky. But Kentucky off to a hot start. 4-0 they lead, coming in 3-5. Their worst start in 12 years. And here's who's on the floor. Kentucky with Smith, Bogans, Fitch, Prince, and Parker. A smaller lineup. Fife, Coverdale, Newton, Jeffries, and Haston. A bigger lineup for Indiana, as both have shuffled at least a couple of people in the starting lineup that normally wouldn't have in the past couple of weeks.
And this smaller lineup for Tubby Smith has been a lot quicker than the lineup he usually starts with Marvin Stone. Starting inside along Jason Parker. They got already a transition basket. They've done a nice job of covering up underneath, trying to get in front of the big guys from Indiana.
This, of course, the initial season for Mike Davis as the head coach of the Hoosiers. And off to a pretty good start. They have victories over then-ranked 24 Charlotte and then-ranked number 10 Notre Dame. Those are the two highlights of their 7-4 campaign coming into this one. Here's Parker down low, lost the handle, and Kentucky's turned it over for the second time.
Awful lot of traffic in there. And Kentucky trying to put pressure in the backcourt on Indiana's guards. They think that they can get some turnovers if they really pressure the guards from Indiana.
And Saul Smith picks up the personal.
Gerald Fitch really hustles. Tom Izzo gave him a nice compliment as you see the two-point takedown by Saul Smith.
I was thinking clipping 15 yards either way.
But Tom Izzo said of Gerald Fitch that played with a lot of heart. He was the best rebounder on the floor in that Kentucky-Michigan State game. That's quite a compliment considering the guys that can go to the glass in that ball game.
Absolutely. He had 9 to lead the team. And if Izzo gives you a compliment like that, as gutsy a coach and as gutsy as his team is, that is pretty high praise. Here's the steal. Fitch, we just talked about him, and misses the layup, but he'll go to the free throw line.
You have to give that turnover not to the receiver, but to the passer. Kyle Hornsby has to be able to see behind Kirk Haston, and if he was looking behind, he would have seen Gerald Fitch lurking to get that steal. Fitch knocking the ball out ahead of him, squares himself up, expecting the contact, and almost completed a nice play.
Fitch off to a nice start, the freshman out of Macon, Georgia. Runner-up to the title of Georgia Mr. Basketball. We've got so many Mr. Basketballs in this game for both teams. And you could start your own McDonald's All-American game.
You know, Fitch only averages about 8 minutes a game, but he's got as many offensive rebounds as Marvin Stone.
Saul Smith, nice defensive play, knocked it off Fife and forces a turnover.
This is a problem Indiana's going to face all season long. Opposing teams are going to go after Indiana's guards, force them to give the ball up and make Indiana's big guys handle it, make some plays in the open floor.
The frown of Mike Davis will get more intense. 2.5 minutes in, they haven't scored yet. They turned it over twice.
The way this Kentucky team can defend and rebound, you got to be kidding me. This is the best 3-5 team in the country.
That's what Izzo told me the other night. He said 3-5. Are you kidding? Parker on a hook. Nice move in the paint for the freshman. And it's 8-0.
1-2-1-1. There's the trap. Prince should have gotten that one. That was a lame duck.
So Indiana's still looking for points 3 minutes into the game.
Much different look for Indiana, not only on the bench with the absence of Bob Knight, but on the floor as well. This team doesn't run as much motion offense. They run a lot of sets, more of a pro-style offense.
It is different looking, isn't it? Fife leaves it. And finally, Haston on the baseline.
You are not going to find many big men in the country that have a touch as nice as Kirk Hastings.
Prince got his man in the air and on a drive. Foul before the shot. Got some good freshmen in this game and some big targets, including Jason Parker.
Jason Parker, big and wide. Kirk Hastings got to play him earlier. You got to punch him off the block, push him further out, because when he gets the ball down deep that far, he is going to score. You can push him a step or two off the lane. Jason Parker, much less effective. He can still score, but not going to score quite as easily as he did on that last possession.
Here's Fitch. Boy, is he off to a hot start.
He just gives them energy, doesn't he?
He sure does.
That guy that's really going to go out and defend and got a lot of bounce to him.
Haston just takes a skyhook on the baseline. Nice move. No dribble or anything.
And he's really worked hard on that. That's something that he looked at a lot of film of Landon Turner, Kent Benson, former Indiana greats.
Bogan's on a turn. Rebound of Jeffries.
Not the shot.
They feed him again on the baseline. He got another one.
That's just a question of transition defense. Big guys that run the floor can really put a lot of pressure on your transition defense.
IU fans up now in red. Kentucky 10, Hastings 6. Prince trying to back in. Cut off on the baseline. Nice defense. And they almost lose it, and now they do. Fife comes up with a loose ball. He's going to try to take it the distance. And the rebound, Bogans. Here's the outlet. Prince is all alone.
No communication by the Indiana guards. You got a breakaway. You don't need all 5 guys following the play. Somebody's got to stay back.
5 minutes in, 12-6. Kentucky. Coverdale's going to try to do it himself and drew a foul. Either Prince or Fitch, they were both there. Let's see what Ed Hightower says. Going to be on Tayshaun.
Is there a better success story in college basketball this year than Tom Coverdale?
I guess.
He's like Roy Hobbs. Comes out of nowhere. The guy had 41 minutes last year total.
Had 7 assists all of last year. Has 63 coming into this, the 12th game of the season for Indiana.
One of the things you like about Coverdale, not only is he fearless, when he takes the ball to the basket, which he does often, his three-point shooting ability sets up his drives. He can really loft that ball up over shot blockers. He's got an uncanny ability to make high layups.
Coverdale had the huge game against Notre Dame. Last season, 10 points in the whole season. This season, 125, including 30. So he had 3 times as many points against Notre Dame as he had all of last year.
He looked like Allen Iverson against Notre Dame.
So Coverdale cuts the lead down to 4, but it's Kentucky. They have had the lead from the get-go, including Tayshaun Prince on a slam. 12-8 Cats. When you come to this game at Freedom Hall, you're either in Kentucky blue or you're in Hoosier red. And then sometimes you're not quite sure where you're getting your tickets from and where you're sitting. Then you end up with a problem like this.
Look at these folks.
You think they're going to have fun tonight?
You think in that kind of color, squaring the blue and the sea of red, they're going to kind of temper their comments?
Oh, man. Well, this is a 44th matchup in this series. Kentucky's won 7 of the last 9, but last year at the Hoosier Dome, it was Indiana ending their long string of losses with a victory, but they have struggled in Louisville. They've really had trouble. You have to go back to the 75 season, the undefeated Indiana team, the last time they were able to beat Kentucky here. Bogans lost his balance penetrating, and he turns it over.
That 1975-76 Indiana team, the last undefeated team in college basketball. Quinn Buckner, Tom Abernathy, Bobby Wilkerson, Kent Benson. What a great team that was.
Doesn't seem like 25 years ago, does it?
Sadly, no. Mike Davis had a little history with that team as well. Mike Davis played at Alabama on a great team that lost to Indiana in the NCAA tournament.
Mike scored over 1,200 points in his career at Alabama. Coverdale outside jumper. They may have gotten a piece of that. Never had a chance. No look pass. Estelu just checked in. Couldn't handle Saul Smith's throw. There's some youth on this team. These teams, I should say.
The 2 youngest in their respective leagues.
First time that since the 81-82 season, Indiana hasn't had a senior.
Little zone now for Kentucky.
They can't leave him alone over there, Jake.
Indiana likes to look in that short corner. They get ball reversal, look immediately down to the short corner. If you don't get a hand up, Hastings going to drill it.
And Estel's lost another one. Nope, they're going to say it's off Indiana. He couldn't find the handle.
On ball reversal, when Tayshaun Prince comes out to get Coverdale, somebody's got to get out to that short corner. Most big guys can't knock that shot down. That's a very difficult shot. 12-footer along the baseline.
He has 8 of Indiana's 10.
Much more comfortable starting the ball game. Just has a better mindset when he's announced in the starting lineup.
Saul Smith around a pick, misses a three. Battle for the rebound. Fife. Did he step on the sideline? He did. Mike Davis likes the hustle.
Well, Mike Davis knows he doesn't have many tougher players than Dane Fife. McDonald's All-American coming out of high school. I always thought he would be a better offensive player than he's turned out to be, but he couldn't be a tougher defender.
I still would have liked to have seen him be a football player myself.
Heck of a quarterback in high school, what he was.
Saul Smith looking for a pick from Prince. And again, every time Kentucky gets in low, this time Cliff Hawkins trying to get it to Estill, and 3 times they've tried, and 3 times they've thrown it out of bounds.
Well, close quarters, but Marquise Estill's got to have his hands ready when that penetration is made. When the ball is coming in there on the penetration, he's getting ready to get ready. By the time the ball gets there, it's too late.
So a chance for Indiana to tie.
Now a little point zone.
Or lead if that goes. And the rebound comes off to Gerald Fitch.
Fitch is always around the ball. Just has a nose for it.
Look into Estill this time and think better of it.
Not a real scoring lineup right now for Kentucky.
Tayshaun Prince. Finally, they got it to the big guy, and he scored.
Marquise Estill really has a nice touch, able to step out on the perimeter as well as post up. Hard to believe in high school he was over 300 pounds.
Yeah, he's lost about 50 pounds at least since high school. Fife feeds inside. Jeffries around Estill. Nice move.
Too easy. Not only flashing to the ball without anybody jumping in front, but Marquise Estill left his feet. A little head and shoulder fake, and it was all over.
Good tight game, 8 minutes in. 14-12, Kentucky. Here's a steal by Haston in front of Estill. Runs into the hoop, missed the shot, but he'll go to the free throw line.
That was a terrific play by Kirk Haston to jump in front, knock the ball ahead. And then it was just a foot race to get it. But I always think a big guy, when he's ahead of the play after this great steal, should go in off of 2 feet. He knew he was going to get hit. Instead of exposing himself, going off one where he's less likely to make the play. You want to see guys square himself to the basket, go up off of 2 feet where you can complete the play.
You see, he's almost perfect, 4 out of 5, and he goes to the free throw line and knocks it down there too. Here's Marvin Stone for the first time, and that's become quite a story this week. There was talk that he was unhappy with his position and his role on the team, and Tubby Smith said no, it was more of an academic thing. He talked to Saul Smith before the game about it, and he's been kind of hanging with Marvin day in and day out to make sure he doesn't go anywhere.
Well, it's not unusual, as you know, when you're 3 and 5 and things aren't going well, to question everything.
And Indiana not only back in the game, they have tied the game. 11:51 to go, first half. And the Hoosiers in the hunt. Nice ball movement by Indiana the last trip down, Jay.
Well, that's the kind of cheering section you want to have, I'll tell you that. Against a zone, one of the ways you beat it is by moving the ball from side to side. Ball reversal. Here, Indiana going to move it from side to side, make that defense move. Here is Jared Jeffries. He's going to cut in. Tayshaun Prince going to have to come out and get the ball. And that's going to open up the middle for Jeffries. Nobody steps in front. And Marquise Estill leaves his feet. That made it easy for Jeffries to get it all the way to the basket. This is an extraordinarily talented young player, Jared Jeffries, out of Bloomington North High School. 6 foot 10 inches tall. And he can do it all. He can handle the ball. He's more of a face-up player. And as he gets stronger and learns to play more with his back to the basket, he is going to be very difficult to stop.
He's coming off his first career double-double in the loss to Missouri earlier this week. 18 points and 10 rebounds.
Could have had 30. Missed a lot of shots. He's only 5 of 19 from the field.
So the Hoosiers have a chance to lead, something they have not done so far tonight. And they'll go to the free throw line to try to do it.
Just a simple little screen and UCLA cut at the high post. Somebody's got to step in and bump the cutter. That's way too easy to just go off a screen. That's where Marvin Stone's got to step in and give Tom Coverdale a little bump. Make him take a detour.
Top Coverdale has given Indiana the lead for the first time tonight. 15-14.
We were talking about Marvin Stone and the rumors and published reports about his mulling a transfer. So many kids think about transferring, and you have so many guys that are whispering in your ear, and so many influences on you from AAU ball on up.
Right.
It's awfully difficult for a coach to know exactly what's going on all the time.
So Kentucky playing from behind, and they don't stay behind very long. Nice move by Estel, laid a shoulder in and muscled up a hook shot, and that's the first points, only the fourth point for Kentucky in about the last 4 minutes.
Well, behind was the right word, because Kirk Haston got caught behind in the post instead of getting around in front.
In too deep, but still drawing a foul is Jeff Newton.
Hey, Brad, one thing that is hard to understand until you see these kids up close, Indiana is really long. I mean, they're really long. They can extend their arms around the basket. They're tough to shoot over, and they can get over the top of you. They're not wide, but they're long. And they can really affect a lot of shots, especially this young man at the free throw line. Jeffrey Newton, very good shot blocker.
Newton 6'9", out of Atlanta, and he's got his first points. So we're tied at 16. Hawkins, not a good pass. The outlet to Fife. Fife to Coverdale for three. Nice tough rebound inside for Newton.
When Jeffrey Newton plays with intensity, he can be a heck of a ball player.
Kentucky now 9 turnovers after starting hot at the beginning. They've had more miscues than points here in the last 5 minutes.
Well, in their 5 losses, they've lost by a combined 14 points, and one of the problems they've had has been turnovers. First ball game of the year, they've turned it over 25 times, lost by 1 to St. John's.
No, not a good pass again. You can maybe get away with that out on the street, but not out here against Indiana. Now a hard foul on the other end, so you can add 2 problems to Hawkins' play there. And I don't think he's going to be in there for long.
Trying to thread the needle a little bit too much, and here's the same point. Go off at 2 feet. Look how exposed he is up. He could have really gotten hurt here. You know that you are going to get fouled or at least get hit. Cliff Hawkins is not going to allow you to go in and posterize him. He's going to try to make a play on the ball. You have got to protect yourself, one, and then put yourself in a position to finish the play.
Hawkins sits and gets a little bit of an earful from Tubby Smith. Saul Smith checks back in at the point guard spot. And Parker returns as well.
One of the things you battle with young players is making decisions.
So Indiana trailed by as many as 8. Now they lead by 3 with 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Brad Nessler and Jay Billis and our ESPN crew at Freedom Hall in Louisville. Annual battle between these 2 teams. It's been a good tough one so far. Parker lost it going up, but he was fouled. Coming up on Saturday. I should say coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday. Makes sense. Fighting Illini of Illinois. Fresh from an overtime win, they won 5 in a row, and they take their act to Austin, Texas to meet the Texas Longhorns. 6:30 Eastern on ESPN2.
Bill Self, his schedule done up by the Marquis de Sade.
Boy, I guess.
I mean, they could have played well, and they have played extraordinarily well, but they could have played well through their first 10 games and been 4-6 with that schedule.
Yep.
Easily.
I've seen them twice, and they're pretty impressive. Twice in person, that is.
They can really throw a lot of bodies in. Yep. That's what's really impressive to me. And how Bill Self and his outstanding staff has really got them all on the same page. Kentucky back to man-to-man. Really have to communicate against Indiana because in these sets, it's a lot of screens.
Haston 3, Prince with a rebound. Indiana by 2. Nice feed to Parker. Missed the hook. Haston clears it off.
Just a little bit too quick with it, but that's the kind of position that Jason Parker can get if he runs the floor.
Here he is defensively as Jeffries fades on him, and he fouled him. Didn't get much, but he got him.
Those are tough calls for a shot blocker. You can't help but bring that arm down a little bit, and he did hit him right on the wrist. Coaches teach shot blockers, just put that arm straight up and let the ball hit it. You don't have to take a swipe at a jump shooter. That's the last thing you want to do is foul a guy taking a fadeaway jump shot.
And Jeffries has 4.
Jeffries really gets to the line a lot, almost 7 times a ball game, but needs to start knocking him down. He only shoots 55% from the free throw line. If he gets that up, he can really put up some numbers.
He's doing that same thing tonight. He's hit 2 and missed 2. And a ball kicked by Coverdale. Fresh shot clock with just under 9 minutes to play in the half.
Indiana may not have the quickest guards in the world, but they really get down and get in a stance and guard you.
Allowed into Tayshaun Prince. And he goes down, and now tried to get a timeout call, and he did. So Kentucky trying to avoid their 11th turnover. They trail Indiana by 3, just under 9 to play in the half.
Do you
8:54 remaining in the first half from Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. We welcome you to a holiday edition here of the 44th renewal of these two teams. Brad Nessler and Jay Billis, and we wish you all a happy holiday. You know, Mike Davis' team started off slow tonight, but he's got to be pretty proud with the way they're playing right now.
Well, they fight. They really scrap. They do it defensively. They do it on the glass, and they've really got some size. A couple of big guys in Kirk Haston and Jared Jeffries you can really get the ball to, and they can deliver, especially Haston. You got to be impressed with the presence that he has in the low post, can step out with that nice touch. You've really got to get in him and keep him from getting the ball because he can just kill you.
There's a lot of guys, David Hobbs included, the former head coach at Alabama, and that's where Mike Davis played and coached with David Hobbs at Alabama for a time as an assistant. And Mike was recruited by C.M. Newton and played for C.M. for a year before Wimp Sanderson came in. So a lot of Alabama ties to the Indiana head coach, and he has talked glowing terms about C.M. Newton and his time at Alabama. He's a former Mr. Alabama as a high school player there. Tayshaun Prince trying to get the ball inbounded.
A lot of Alabama ties, and going from C.M. Newton to Wimp Sanderson, a lot of Alabama sport coats.
A lot of plaid.
That must have been a shocker.
Saul Smith, Coverdale all over him. Lobs underneath to Bogans. Beautiful pass, and Bogans' first score of the night.
When the ball's in the middle of the floor, no weak side help is established. So everybody out guarding their man. Nice little back pick. Saul Smith with the delivery.
Fight. Haston double teamed, almost lost the handle.
Tayshaun's got to get on the floor there.
Coverdale outside at a wide open look at a 3. And nice job by Saul Smith to knock it away from Jeffries from behind. So Kentucky can lead if that goes. But it's off the mark. Haston the rebound. Up. Ball loose. Stone got a piece of it and then got fouled. And that was Bogans who got a hand in there. Mike Davis said, hey, he fouled him.
That was Haston, his second of the team's fifth.
Kentucky with a nice piece of execution. Ball in the middle of the floor right here. That means everybody's guarding their men. Here's the screen going to come, and backdoor for a nice little alley-oop. Very well executed. That's where Jared Jeffries got to see that, call it out to Dane Fife. Maybe step in front. Try to knock Bogans off of his path. This is all a timing play. And if Tom Coverdale had gotten a little more pressure on the ball, maybe it wouldn't have been quite so easy to make that pass.
Marvin Stone out of Huntsville, Alabama at the free throw line. His first point of the night. Didn't practice Tuesday or Wednesday. And hits 2 big free throws and gives Kentucky the lead back. 7:57 remaining first half. Good one going at Freedom Hall. 21-20. We've had 3 lead changes, 3 ties in this one with 7:57 remaining in the first half. It's Kentucky by a point right now. And it's the final week Now, the NFL regular season. Tune in to ESPN on Saturday. That's right, Saturday night, Bills take on the Seahawks. Ricky Waters looking to move up on the all-time rushing charts. And then on Monday Night Football, it's the Dallas Cowboys and the Tennessee Titans. ESPN and ABC, your exclusive home for primetime football. That one could be huge for Tennessee, depending on what goes on over the weekend as far as home field advantage, where they are tough to beat at home. Yeah, we wish you a happy holiday. A lot of people wearing those lids out here today and at every airport across the country, trying to put up with flight delays.
2-3 zone for Kentucky, trying to get some different looks, just like they did against Michigan State.
Jeffries backpedals, missed the outside jumper. Prince, nice weak side rebound by Tayshaun. Saul Smith will back it out.
Kentucky much better when the ball is in Saul Smith's hands. He's been very steady all year long, and as I say that, almost gets it stolen from him when he shows the ball. But shooting much better, better decisions. This kid can run all day.
Yep.
Probably in the best shape of any Kentucky Wildcat.
Backdoor lob. That one's picked off by Jeffries. Was a fairly good thought, I guess, but not enough on the pass. Now on the other end, it's Jeffries. So he made the play on one end, and he gets the hoop on the other. Indiana back in front.
Well, there is no coach in the country that would think that wasn't too easy. A good job in transition defense by Kentucky's big guys.
Push pass now to Stone. And Prince lost the handle. Man, Kentucky with 13 turnovers.
Tom Coverdale doing a nice job of being under control. He's using that free throw line as a stop sign. Not taking it too far, just slowing down and letting everything open up for him and just making a decision.
5 for 3. Rimmed out on him. Rebound. Marvin Stone. 13 turnovers already, and they're closing in on what they normally do on a normal night. Indiana coming back the other way. Life's wide open. He's got to take it. And he got the roll.
Well, give some credit to Kyle Hornsby there. It was a subtle move, but he gave a little shot fake and brought the defense right to him. That's what opened up that jumper.
Indiana's biggest lead. They're up 4. Just over 6 minutes to go in the half. Bogan's trying to quiet the crowd. Does. Or he lights up the blue half of the crowd, I should say.
When Keith Bogans moves without the ball and really hunts his shot, he can be an outstanding two-guard. The best three-point shooter.
Kentucky, the 4th longest streak in the country in hitting a three-pointer in now 416 straight games after Bogans hit that one. Here's Stone with a block. Let's see whose ball it is. Ted Hillary says Kentucky.
Marvin Stone just playing ping pong with that ball. Just saw it up in the air and swung up at it. Rarely you're going to get a foul called on you when you swing up at the sky like that. Nice presence.
Minnesota goes to 9-1 as you see some of the other scores. Big one tonight was Cincinnati beating Alabama by 3. And of course, a lot of you saw Tennessee just before us. Dave and Billy called the Tennessee win over Syracuse at the Carrier Dome. Big win for the Vols after kind of a poor showing earlier this week. And now Stone's foul as he goes to the hole by Newton.
Really solid delivery by Keith Bogans. Little spin move to get away from the defense and drawing Jared Jeffries. But look at Newton, how high and quick he can get up. Blocked that with his left hand, just caught him with the body down low. Young man Marvin Stone really has all the tools to be a top-flight big man in the Southeastern Conference. Played most of last year with a broken thumb, but limited his effectiveness. He can run the floor, he's got a nice touch, and still learning how to play the game. It takes time for big guys.
Question now is being happy with yourself, I guess, in his case, and getting his academics straight, which they tell us he has. Made up the work needed to stay on the floor and in Lexington.
2-2-1, three-quarter court press coming back into a zone.
Kentucky is seesawed back in front. Some of the lead changes, hard to keep track of who's winning. Coverdale Going to try to penetrate. Stone got another one. Second block shot and as many trips down court now.
Okay, Marvin Stone was really patient in going after that block. He waited for it to come to him instead of going after it.
Bogan's three. His second. 8 points for Bogans, and now it's Kentucky by 4.
I really think Keith Bogan's got to be a guy that takes over this team. He's an explosive scorer.
You know what's cool about this? Every time somebody takes the lead, you hear noise. There's 3 shots blocked in a row by Stone. Stone thought about the outside jumper. Bogans will try another. Didn't get the roll. Rebound off to Indiana. And they want to talk about it right now. Probably a good timeout. Well, it's certainly not Marvin Hands of Stone right now, I'll tell you that much. He's got soft touch with the block shots and has kept them all alive for Kentucky.
Keeping it alive, that's the key. Look how patient he is, waiting for Tom Coverdale to come to him so that he doesn't initiate the contact. And A.J. Moya trying to bring it in, and he just slaps it back out. Who said anything about a transfer? You're not going anywhere.
Just stay right there in the paint, big guy. On the season, his most points was the opener against St. John's in a loss. Had a good outing against Georgia Tech in a 1-point loss. They lost by a point to Michigan State as well.
Those games there, North Carolina, Eastern Kentucky, Georgia Tech, were all games in which Marvin Stone found himself in foul trouble. And a big guy in foul trouble, you're going to get your minutes limited.
Had some heartbreaking losses. They didn't score in the last couple minutes the other night, or maybe they would have gotten number 2 Michigan State. Sean Fine at the buzzer beat him in the Georgia Tech game in Atlanta that we had for you on ESPN. So they've been close a lot of times. They're close right now, but they're leading by 4 over an Indiana team that is looking for its 8th win of the year. Under 4 minutes in the half. 4 on the shot clock. Coverdale's going to have to put one up. And he got it to go and drew a foul. Can't do it much better than that.
Brad, this guy has just got a knack for getting shots up over shot blockers. Coverdale takes it right into the teeth of the defense. A little spin move. And he can go in and create contact against Fitch, and he lobbed it right over Marvin Stone. Look, you can see catching him out of the corner of his eye. There's no way he would put it up like that if he didn't see Stone coming over for the block.
Not the prettiest shot in the world, but he got a deuce out of it. Couldn't convert the 3-point play. And Kentucky maintains a 2-point lead.
Those shots are like a tee shot that hits the tree and bounces into a fairway. They don't ask you how it got there.
Mine hit the tree and stay in the tree. Here's Prince. Tayshaun, nice speed from Bogans.
Well, Keith Bogans shed about 20 pounds from last year, much quicker, but still explosive when he puts the ball on the floor.
You were supposed to say you've seen my tee shots and they're not that bad, but you ignored that.
Well, they're just so long. You can't see them when they leave the club.
Odell with his first basket off the bench.
This Indiana team really plays with a lot of freedom offensively. Got a number of different pro sets that they run. When they execute, they can really play. This is a good basketball team.
Prince not hit a 3 yet or taken one out there. Stone with a left hand. Nice move. Little drop step on the baseline. Drew a foul.
You know what's nice about that move? It was decisive. Sometimes big guys get the ball down low. They wait too long, or they get in their minds what they want to do before the ball gets there instead of just feeling it.
Marvin came in only 18 out of 36 from the free throw line, but he's knocked down all 4 tonight, so he's gone from 50% on the season to a perfect night so far tonight. Still perfect.
You think about where this Kentucky team would be if they had all their personnel. They lost Desmond Allison last year. Michael Bradley transferred, as did Ryan Hogan, both of them playing very well, especially Bradley at Villanova.
Over 21 a game for Villanova.
Jules Kamara is sitting out right now.
Part of the Kentucky student-athlete alcohol policy, still practicing with the team but not playing. But his teammates playing pretty well. Kentucky by 4. Should have seen him eating his popcorn. It was not a pretty sight. 33-29 right now. We were talking about the people that Kentucky does not have at its disposal. There's Jules Kamara, who would have been a huge part of this team. But as part of the UK student-athlete alcohol policy, he's missing this season, but is practicing with the team and will be back next year. Jay mentioned Desmond Allison, also with an alcohol situation, transferred to Martin Methodist in Tennessee. Myron Anthony transferred to TCU. He's averaging 16 and 9 a game. Michael Bradley 21 and 10 a game for Villanova. Ryan Hogan is at Iowa about 8 points a game, and that doesn't even count Jonathan Stewart, who they were so high on, a sensational high school basketball player, a 7-footer who collapsed and died at the Indiana State basketball tournament a couple of years ago, who would have been a part of this team. So you add up all the missing ingredients, and they're doing pretty well with what they still have here.
I thought what they did last year was phenomenal, going 23 and 10. 21 of the games they had were against teams that played in the NCAA tournament last year.
They went 12 and 4 to the SEC. That's not easy either. And that 3 goes.
It is not enough to get a late hand up on Kyle Hornsby or Tom Coverdale. You've got to get out and make them put the ball on the floor. Force them into being drivers or two-point shooters.
Hornsby tied for the lead in three-pointers. Just showed why with his 17th of the year to put Indiana back to within a point. Coming up at halftime, John Saunders along the Courtyard by Marriott halftime report. Sports Center in game. We'll take a look at Tennessee and Syracuse, the game that preceded us, and we'll have a Big Ten update as well. That's all coming up with John in about a minute and 49 seconds.
Jerry Green and his Volunteers really needing him. Bounce back against Syracuse. They did not perform very well at all against Virginia. Nope.
Virginia was better than I thought they were. Put up 107 points. Don't really remember the last time I saw a Virginia team do that, but then again, last year in the NIT against Georgetown they did, but it took them 3 overtimes to get there.
Well, Pete Gillen's style has always been to run up and down the floor. They like to press, get a chaotic pace, and make people play a different way than they practice.
Fitch got 1 of 2, and the lead is 2 for Kentucky.
1-2-2 3-quarter court pressure.
And it almost got to him, but they come up with a foul. Fitch just a little bit out of control. That youthful enthusiasm you were talking about. It looked like they had a shot at stealing the ball and forcing a turnover, and he picks up his 2nd foul.
Fitch saw Hornsby trying to spin back and just tried to run in and steal the ball away from him with both hands. Good idea, but awfully hard to execute.
Hornsby for 2.
Having Gerald Fitch start this ball game, pretty darn good idea by Tubby Smith.
Sure looks like it now, doesn't it?
Gave them a lot more energy. The smaller lineup, there was some risk involved because Indiana was going bigger. Hey, Tubby Smith does not get near the credit he deserves as being one of the truly outstanding coaches in the game.
All he's getting now is grief and heat from Lexington because they're 3 and 5.
That's what you get for winning a national championship.
You shouldn't do it the first year. That's not a good move. Tied at 34. It's been pretty much everything we'd hoped for so far with 90 seconds left in the half. Brad Nessler and Jay Billish with you on this Friday night. Keith Bogans walked with it. Thought he was fouled, didn't get the call. It's a 14 Kentucky turnover in the first half.
Well, give credit to Dane Fife. He forced that turnover, really moving his feet well. He was there on the catch. You're not going to find a tougher guard in the game than Dane Fife.
Hornsby and Fife, Coverdale, Leach, and Odell on the floor right now for Indiana. It's Odell on the baseline. Got it.
There's the short corner again.
So Indiana back in front by a deuce.
When the low man on that zone goes out to the wing, Indiana's big guys are popping to that short corner.
Last one with the ball might have the lead at halftime. Bogan short on a jumper this time. Stone trying to keep his hand out of the way of Fife, but nicked him in the head with his elbow.
No, that's a decision too, Brad. You talk about decisions mostly in passing, but there are some times when you are out of position going for an offensive rebound, you can't afford to go after. You got to let it go.
Just got to let it go and live for another day. If you're a college hoops fan, you haven't seen college hoops tonight, you're missing Jay Billis. That's what you're missing, along with Carl Ravage. The latest word in college basketball scene. Great show. Good job on that, buddy.
We have a lot of fun with that. Get a chance to highlight some of the great players, great coaches around the country. 300 some Division I teams. It's a lot to cover.
It's only, what, 3 or 4 nights a week, right?
For now.
Have you been home lately?
Drop in to pick up some more clothes. We'll start dropping over to your house. You wear nicer stuff than I do.
Yeah, right. Come on over anytime. I probably won't be there. Five missed them both. That didn't help Indiana's cause any, but they still have a 2-point lead. Kentucky looking to tie or lead on this trip. Prince trying to penetrate. It does. Tayshaun Prince ties it up.
When he looks for other ways to score than just being a jump shooter, he is far more effective. Tayshaun Prince has the size and ability to post up at times. He needs to expand his game offensively.
Shot clock is off. That's the game clock till halftime. Coverdale. Tough drive. Saul Smith going to pick up his second foul.
Well, Smith has a point. Coverdale lowered that shoulder, but oftentimes the offense is going to get that call, and Tom Coverdale doing a nice job of creating that contact.
Here's Saul's big brother, Gigi, former guard at Georgia. Now helping out here as a GA. And Indiana's missed 3 free throws in a row from guys that you normally don't miss them.
Indiana only shoots about 58% as a team.
That's pretty bad.
Line. That needs some work. You're giving away an awful lot of points when you, as a team, shoot that low.
They've missed 8 already in the first half. He got the second one. And as I said earlier, whoever has the ball last will probably lead at halftime. Let's see if that's true if Kentucky scores in the final 10 seconds. Oops, Saul Smith lost the handle, out of bounds to Kentucky with 7.8 left. I would think they want to get it in Bogan's hands here.
Plenty of time to run a set play. One of the hard parts about this is inbounding the ball. Probably going to wind up catching it going away from the basket.
Tayshaun Prince, the guy with the longest arms, is going to be the inbound man. He's going to have to call a timeout. So you're right. They are having trouble getting it in.
Well, that's one of the reasons in a late game situation especially you don't want to call a timeout, because you're going to have to inbound the ball. And that can be one of the most difficult things.
Indiana this year, when they lead at the half, they don't lose. And Kentucky, the last time they were in this situation was Eddie Sutton's final year as head coach 12 years ago. Last time they started 3-6 was a long time ago. Depression time. It was a depressing season. And
yeah, but
so far,
that 2017 team, the best 3-6 team in the country.
That's what they tell us. We weren't here for that one. But anyway, tonight both teams have played well at times, but Kentucky's turned it over too much tonight so far.
And that's really been a problem for them all season long. Turnovers, not making free throws. They are so close, Brad, I think, to having only 2 losses.
Here's the final play, and Bogans has got it. Bogans spins inside, goes through a double team, rimmed it out. Prince trying to get it back up there and can't. So Indiana leads at halftime. They are 5-0 this year when they lead at the half. They've outscored their opponents in every game in the second half, but this is just a one-pointer. Indiana by a point at the break. John Saunders at Courtyard by Marriott halftime report is next.
In that first half, but they turned the ball over 14 times, and they put Indiana on the free throw line 19 times. If they can be stronger with the ball and play good defense without fouling, I think Kentucky's got a very good shot in the second half against an Indiana team that I thought played very well in the first half.
Yeah, they did. There's a turnover story. Only 5 for Indiana. They've been averaging only 10 per game the last 3 outings, but they haven't been outscored in the second half this year. They've outscored their opponents by almost 9 points. 5-0 when they lead at halftime, so they've been a good second half team. And a 1-point lead as we get set to head into the second half. Bogans, Prince, Smith, Fitch, and Parker on the floor, the guys that started for Kentucky.
One thing Kentucky's going to have to do is use a few more pass fakes in this second half. Indiana's got very active hands out in passing lanes.
inside. Parker turns and deals.
That's how he started out the ball game. Kirk Haston again letting Jason Parker get positioned down too far.
Is Haston give and go inside and a foul?
Jason Parker does not have hands. He has mitts. Gigantic hands. Look how deep he gets that ball. You get it down that far, there is no way that you are going to keep Jason Parker from scoring. This young man going to get better and better as a basketball player.
He's one strong-looking freshman.
And he is a freshman. Jason Parker has had a lot of attention on him. He's all set to go to the University of North Carolina. Had some problems with a test score. Ultimately, it was determined that he was eligible without the score because of an error on his high school transcript. And Kentucky, the beneficiary of that mistake.
Goes from Carolina blue to Kentucky blue. Here he is down low. Just couldn't handle a pass from Fitch. Pretty good pass. Bounce pass got up in his midsection. He couldn't find the handle. So there's another Kentucky turnover. That's 15. Backcourt pressure for the first time.
Ed Hightower telling Gerald Fitch and Dane Fife to knock it off. Nice job by Saul Smith not to let Tom Coverdale get the ball back.
The big guy's got to bring it up himself. Newton does a nice job of handling. Haston hook shot. Got it.
You think Mike Davis discovered a new point guard there?
It worked.
I think not. But Jeffrey Newton carrying the flag for big guys across America.
All 6'9" of him, and he gets the assist on the end of it. Here's Bogans down low. Tough catch and even tougher hang time. He's got 10.
But how about the high school team that he played on at DeMatha under Morgan Wooten, a Hall of Famer? Their guards, Keith Bogans and Joseph Forte.
Not bad, huh? A muscle man and a shooter.
And if you don't think there's a little competition between those two, you are sorely mistaken.
Jeffries, both teams coming out and doing just about what they want offensively to start this half.
Jared Jeffries, a guy that has to look for his shot every time down. Always be looking to take advantage of the matchup that he has.
Fitch backpedals from 17. And Bogan somehow kept it alive, and he's got a chance for a three-point play. That's what I was talking about the muscle.
Kentucky got away with one there. A bad shot by Gerald Fitch trying to go over the top of a very good shot blocker in Jeffrey Newton. And when that ball hung up there, just legal.
Just barely.
Keith Bogans was able to slip in there while bodies were flying and take that ball away and finish the play.
Keith can tie this game up, but missed the free throw. Newton snatches that one out of midair. Again, the baseline. This time it doesn't go for Haston, and Prince comes up with a rebound. Outlet to Smith. Tough catch by Saul.
Like a wide receiver there.
Boy, no kidding. Fitch trying to leave it inside and gives it up. Back comes Indiana on the run. They almost walk with it. Newton throws it up. He did walk with it.
That's just an instance of giving the ball to a guy when he's not in the position to do anything with it. If he had made that catch cleanly, Jeffrey Newton would have had no play at the basket.
Kentucky looking to regain the lead with 3 minutes into the second half. Prince backing in. Hook shot got it.
Boy, that was nice. Little two-man game. The back pick and the post.
You don't see him post up much, but he's got the height to do it. It's just not his normal strong suit. He'd rather be out on the perimeter, get around a pick and shoot a three. Tonight he's having to play inside and do some of the dirty work. Here he is on defense, and he gave up a shot to Haston, and he fouled it in the process.
Again, that short corner, this time against man-to-man. When Bogans hit the deck, it created a help and recover situation, and Tayshaun Prince just out of position to take that charge. Didn't square himself. Get a foot on the baseline to catch the charge.
When Bogans went down, as you said, it was a power play then. Mike Davis' team in front by 1, looking to add to it. Haston has 14. Short on the free throw, though. Their free throws are killing them.
They've been getting to the line a lot.
Indiana by 1. Prince, nice speed inside of Parker. That's strong.
Kirk Haston having an awfully difficult time staying up the line defensively on Jason Parker. When the ball was in the high post, Haston's got to be between his man and the basket. He just got caught on his hip. And a nice little drop step. When you get an angle to the basket, so difficult to stop.
Third personal on Haston. Chance for a three-point play for Parker. Not a good free throw shooter. In and out. Wait a minute.
He gets another one. Jason Parker's got a hitch in his stroke. And Jeffrey Newton in a little bit too early. Reminds you a little bit of what Larry Johnson had. Gets the ball up in a shooting spot and then stops. And guys
Doc puts it up there and missed them both. And Saul Smith gets called for a backcourt foul, and he's got 3. And that's not going to be good news for Kentucky.
Well, Smith has to be careful because he's got to be on the floor for Kentucky to be at their best. They are not as good with someone other than Saul Smith at the point.
When they had Hawkins and Fitch out there, that's where a lot of their turnovers came. You're exactly right.
Well, there is no question, if you take a look at Gigi Smith, an outstanding point guard at Georgia.
No eligibility left.
Saul Smith is their best leader, and right now Tubby's talking to his son about making a better decision on the defensive end. They can't afford to have him sitting on the bench as another assistant coach.
I think he just lost his allowance for Christmas on that last foul. That's all it is. The foul on the other end, and that's on Hawkins, and he's got 3. So not good decisions by either point guard, the senior or the freshman, and they're both in foul trouble now.
And part of that's not internalizing time to score. Understanding you've got a couple of fouls and not wanting to pick up 194 feet from the basket.
16-minute mark with Kentucky up 1. Newton, not a good shot. Prince the rebound. Parker, oh boy. That was an ugly pass, but so was that one. And back comes Hawkins. Tayshaun spots up the 3. Got it!
Not the way it was drawn up in practice, but it worked.
Saul Smith doing what he can as a cheerleader with a towel on the sideline. We said Tayshaun Prince likes to spot up for 3. Hadn't taken one all night. He buried that one. On the other end, it's an air ball for Hornsby. And out of bounds to Kentucky. 15-13 to go. Mike Davis giving Andre Patillo an earful. But the steal by Hawkins. The dish to Prince. And a three-pointer goes. 4-point Kentucky lead. Kentucky by 4. They got away with a bad pass the last trip down court, got a steal back, and ended up scoring anyway.
They wound up getting a 3 out of it, but you want to get the ball going toward the basket, not into the corner. And that pass by Jason Parker was leading Marvin Stone into the corner. Even if it was executed perfectly, what it does is take Marvin Stone away from the basket rather than toward it.
As we mentioned, the last 3 games, only 10 turnovers. Tonight they have 7. That last one turning into a three-pointer on the other end, part of a 9-2 Kentucky run.
You saw Mike Davis right there next to Marvin Stone. You think maybe he's doing a little recruiting there?
Marvin was smiling at him anyway.
Heard you weren't happy. I think you'd look good in red.
And a whistle and a hold down low. If that's on Newton, it'll be his second. I beg your pardon, that's his 3rd. He has 3, and Haston has 3. Hawkins right back to Bogans. Probably the best pass that Hawkins has thrown tonight. It only took him about a 1/10 of a second to get rid of it.
Terrific look, but again, trying to thread that needle. Oftentimes, the guy taking the ball out of bounds is the one that's going to be open. And Dane Fife was not seeing man and ball. He had his back to the ball. And that pass just zipped right by his ear.
Bogans has been at the free throw line twice and missed them both tonight. 12 points tonight. When he and Prince score, they win. He and Prince had 26 of the 33 second-half points against North Carolina in the victory. That time he got the roll. And in the loss to Penn State, for instance, they combined 4 for 24 from the floor. So as those two go, so go the Cats, and tonight they're going pretty well. And Indiana turned it over again.
When Bogans and Prince are aggressive looking for their offense, it opens up things for everyone else.
They each have 13 tonight so far.
It's some sort of basketball equivalent of trickle-down economics, I'm sure.
Prince feeds inside a Stone.
That's the way you feed the post. That pass led Marvin Stone right into his move.
Kentucky now up 7. Bogans trying to come up with a steal and does. Now it's Indiana error prone, and it's Prince for 3. Kentucky's biggest lead of the night. Boy, they are turning turnovers into points in a hurry.
Here's the nice feed into the post, leading Marvin Stone to the basket for the easy finish. Not only passing to the offense, but away from the defense. And fumble! Oh, Nelly, we got a good one.
And Prince has knocked down 2 threes in this half. Nothing but the bottom.
You know, it doesn't matter how it rotates when it goes through like that. That is sweet string music.
16 for Prince, 13 for Bogans. We just got done talking about when those two warm it up on offense. These are a tough bunch of Cats to beat. And now 15-2 run.
Well, this full court pressure, at times zone pressure, at times man, has started to take its toll on Indiana.
15-2 run in the last 5 minutes and 20 seconds. And Indiana's been on the long end and the short end of those kind of runs a lot this year. They can have runs where they go on 17 of their own, but they can turn around and have it blow up in their face, and that's what's happening right now.
Mike Davis, after that last timeout, deciding to let Jared Jeffries bring the ball up against Jason Parker rather than have the guards bring it up.
Riverdale almost lost the handle again. And goes for the reverse layup in with a tall timber in there. And Stone pulls down the miss. Hawkins on the run. On the baseline. They don't get that one, and it's Fife on the rebound. Bogans trying to make it difficult for everybody. He's really hustling on both ends of the court. Jeffries throws it up there, drew a foul from Parker. Parker picks up his second. We're down to the finals on the 2-minute drill. As you hear the horn, you can tune into ESPN on Christmas Day night as a champion will be crowned. Panelists include Mike Golick, Mike Greenberg, Marcus Camby, and that's right, Regis Philbin. They'll all join Kenny Mayne. You can test your skills right along with those combatants.
I get killed watching that show.
I do too. I have a hard time hanging.
You try to answer those questions.
It's the pressure of the time that kills me. Some of the questions I got the answer, but I can't spit them out.
I do better on Jeopardy.
That's that Dookie education. You're so well-rounded. The only thing I know anything about is sports. 9-point lead. .13:20 left with Jay Billis. I'm Brad Nessler from Freedom Hall in Louisville. Prince trying to dish it down to Parker. And off Parker's noggin out of bounds, so Kentucky turns it over again. And that is 18, I think, if we're keeping track right. It's too many. But they've somehow, with their hot shooting, been able to overcome those turnovers and maintain a lead here now with 13 to play. Fife found an alley. Missed the layup. Indiana gets it back. And it's a walk underneath. Andre Owens will get called for the walk with 2 guys on the ball at the same time.
Well, Mike Davis irate with his team for not communicating with each other. They were fighting each other for the ball. That's what led to the walk. Part of being a good basketball team is being able to communicate, not only offensively but defensively as well.
Prince Parker wants it down there. It's just a tough spot to get it to him. Jeffries with those long arms you were talking about. And a bump outside. Going to be a foul on Owens.
Dane Fife saved a basket there. Jason Parker was wide open for a lob, but Keith Bogans could not see in. See, because Keith Bogans can't see in because of the pressure on him. If he would have just thrown the ball up there, Parker could have held his position on Jeffries, would have had an easy basket. That's what pressure will do.
Here's a lob on the back door. Stone went up. He just couldn't handle it. Perfectly thrown pass. He lost it going up and then tried to hold the rim just to keep his balance.
Yeah, the catch is the first thing. You can't finish before you catch. Easy for me to say. I can never get up that high.
Trying to give and go, and Parker comes up with a steal as Haston trying to get it back to Jeffries. And now it's the Hoosiers who have become turnover prone. They've got 11 now after only having 5 at halftime. Boy, look at Parker working. A couple freshmen just blasting each other down there. Bogans left it for Stone, and he missed another one, and it's an offensive foul. And Keith Bogans looks to Tubby Smith and says, "Coach, my fault. I did it." He's got his 3rd, but Kentucky maintains a 9-point lead. 9 left. Tubby Smith looking to get his team out of a slump, and of course he's feeling and hearing all the talk around his program. With that in mind, we asked him what his favorite part of this job is.
Well, I love this. I love these questions. I love these interviews. Don't you? What do you mean, man? That's what I live for. That's why I do this. Why would I get it otherwise?
All right, Coach.
You're 3 and 5, and you want to ask me questions?
That's right. Here's a question for you.
Well, I'll tell you what he does enjoy, and that's coaching in practice. I've had a chance to watch him coach in practice. And he has got a gift for teaching. Not only coaching, but teaching. Calls everybody son in practice. You want to run the floor, son? Would you mind defending somebody, son?
And that just happens to go in the case of his own son, who is on the team, not on the floor right now, though, as Blevins has checked into one of the guard spots for Kentucky. Indiana, a little different looking lineup again, too. Trying to find the right combination. Jeffries cut off on the baseline and then hook shots it up there. He's got 11.
Young man's got a lot of ability. Subject of an intense recruiting battle between Indiana and Duke. Bob Knight ultimately won that fight.
Lob underneath. Not a good entry pass by Stone. Ball still loose. Kentucky comes up with it with a 3-on-1. Prince, lob to Bogans. Got it.
How about the strength of Keith Bogans to knock Dane Fife off the ball and finish the play?
Tell you, he's all muscle. 6'5", but he's so strong. Jeffries hits a 3. They needed that one.
Not many guys 6'10" can face the basket, put the ball on the floor, and pull up from 3.
57-51. Kentucky by 6 with about 10 and a half to go.
But has Kentucky responded nicely with Saul Smith out of this game? Have they ever?
Marvin Stone, where did he come up with that move?
Whether it's Cliff Hawkins, J.P. Blevins, the offense running pretty smoothly.
Kentucky, or Indiana, works it around the perimeter. Jeffries thought about a 3 over Stone, takes him baseline instead.
Wow, that play designed to get an isolation. And Jeffries took advantage of it. You know, Mike Davis wanted to build this team, at least in part, around Jared Jeffries because of his ability level.
Jeffries has the majority of the points this half for Indiana. Blevins with a flyer. Hasn't scored much this year, but that little floater keeps Kentucky up 8. Jeffries feeling the hot hand. Missed that one, and Hornsby keeps it alive. Right back to Hornsby they go. Here comes Keith Bogans. Pull-up jumper over Fife. Got it!
Isn't it nice to watch somebody with a mid-range shot? Who says the intermediate range game is dead?
Oh, Jeffries never turned around, didn't see the ball coming. An unforced error, the ball harmlessly goes out of bounds. Kentucky is fired up, and Keith Bogans is part of the reason. He and Prince now have combined for 33 of Kentucky's 63 points.
When Keith Bogans is aggressive, Kentucky is much better offensively. Going along the baseline, squaring up to the offensive glass when some space is cleared, and the nice finish in traffic. And then finishing on the nice alley-oop pass from Tayshaun Prince, knocking Dane Fife out of the way. And then here, this is a sweet pull-up.
Sure is. Squares away and hits the bottom. He's got that look on his face, and he's had it playing defense, too. He's had some smiles on his face. He's just having fun playing right now.
Right on his average, 17 points per game. The most points averaged by a Wildcat since Ron Mercer.
17 Bogans, 16 for Prince. They continue to be able to sit Saul Smith, their floor leader. Levin's out there, along with Fitch. Prince working hard against Jeffries, trying to back him in. It's worked before, it works again.
But Kentucky keeping such nice spacing. Really difficult for Indiana to get a double team or make something happen to get it out of the hands of a postman.
Biggest lead of the night. It's up to 12. They need this guy, and he buries it, and Prince even got him on the hand. He has 16.
Difficult matchup right now for Jeffrey Newton out on the perimeter guarding Gerald Fish. He's got to take him out outside.
Prince took a 3 and missed it. A rebound off to Jeff Newton. It's almost like the crowd is taking a little breather right here because they know they're going to need all their energy for the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Awfully tough call inside when you're playing that post defense. Hard to tell who's fouling who.
Third foul on Tayshaun Prince.
Tayshaun Prince trying to stay in front of Kirk Haston. Haston does a nice job of trying to get low post position, but who's rooting who out there?
That's right. Good point.
Was it Haston trying to root out Tayshaun Prince because the defense entitled to the spot if they beat the offense to it?
Haston, he even rims out a free throw. But Indiana's going to keep it. Last touched by Prince on the baseline.
It's a pretty easy call for Andre Patillo. Tayshaun, you got size 16 feet. I saw it hit.
Cross-court pass, a tough one. Coverdale. Off to Marcus Haston. Rebound. Estel saved it. Blevins is fouled. If it's on Newton, it's 4.
Not a smart foul by Jeffrey Newton.
That is the 4th foul on Newton, so the big man in trouble for Indiana. The whole team's in trouble. They trail by 10 with 7:43 left. Part of the reason they trail. Superb play of Keith Bogans for Kentucky. There's so many flags flying during this timeout. I thought we were at the United Nations. Both teams cheering, both teams booing. It depends on what color you're wearing tonight. But with 7:43 left, whether you're a Kentucky fan or a Hoosier fan, we've had a heck of a ball game. But right now, it's Kentucky in front by 10. And it's been an extremely efficient second half for Bogans and Prince and Stone. Here at Freedom Hall, supposedly a neutral site. Closer to home, though, for Kentucky, about 71 miles up the road, and Bloomington's a couple hours, so it's a good place to meet and greet. have a beer, watch a game.
Anytime.
We're just doing the game part so far.
We can remedy that.
That could change. It's almost Christmas. Here we go. 7:43 to play. Bogans, Prince, and Stone almost haven't missed in the second half.
Between them, 10 of 11.
Not bad, huh? Estel has it ripped out of there by Coverdale. He's going to be picked up with the hand check. The foul. That's his first foul. So Estel's going to go to the free throw line.
It's great seeing these two uniforms on the court at the same time. 12 national championships between these two schools. A lot of basketball history.
Over 3,000 wins, about 3,100 actually. One in its 98th year of college basketball. The Hoosiers in year 101.
And with all those wins and championships, these players and coaches are only thinking about one win right now.
Yeah, that's right. Third week of December, one team trying to get out of a little bit of a losing skid, and one first-year head coach saying this would be a nice one to win after losing to Missouri earlier in the week. Estel hits both free throws, and it's a 12-point game again.
Both these teams really battling throughout the course of the season, not just tonight. Both teams a little bit fragile.
Jeffries posted up on Bogans, lost a handle going up. Tayshaun Prince and Haston get tied up, and it's going to go to Indiana.
Tayshaun with the smile on his face. It's the age-old question of how did he get that ball without fouling me? Now, I got the ball. He's got to reach around. That's a foul, isn't it?
Look at the look on both their faces. That's a classic. So another chance for the Hoosiers. They're going to need all the chances they can get here in the last 7 minutes. On the drive, a runner won't go. Haston trying to come down with a rebound. Somehow did and got it.
How about the tenacity? Sticking after that ball and grabbing it when it was up for grabs.
6'10", 230-pounder just hung with it. Keeps it at a 10-point game. Now it's a matter of the Hoosiers wanting to get this thing down in single digits around the 5-minute mark and then make their run. But Kentucky won't go away. Bogans won't go away. Bogans won't miss.
Boy, wow. How about the screen, too, by Tayshaun Prince picking off Andre Owens. Owens looked like he was wearing Velcro.
Keith Bogans has 20. He's been almost perfect. He's playing as well as we've seen him play in a while.
Keith Bogans really set up his man well. Watch how he just walks him down and then takes him all the way up. Ran right into the Great Wall. Couldn't get around it.
Saul Smith still cheerleading from the sideline.
Best seat in the house.
Yep.
Saul better worry about he might be getting Wally pipped out here.
13-point Kentucky lead. Looking to add to it. Tayshaun Prince, this has been a good spot for him. This time he kicks it away to Estel. And he had a three. Kentucky's living right tonight.
That was a great play by Tayshaun Prince.
Newton walked with it. And now it's Indiana and their turnover story. And now they're buried down 16. It is danger time for the Hoosiers. Celebration time for Kentucky. And when you've got your big guy out there, 6'9", shooting threes and dropping them, you're having a good night.
Well, just a terrific read by Tayshaun Prince when the defense came over to him, getting it to the open man. And give credit to Estel. He was ready to shoot when the ball got there.
Don't forget, coming up on SportsCenter following the game, Bill Pito, John Anderson will be along. Talk about the top 10 showdown between Syracuse and Tennessee. Don Nelson, the Lakers, and the Mavericks. And a 2-minute drill for you. Look ahead to the pro football weekend and a lot more. Bill and John are along in about 5.5 minutes.
And there's a young man, Jared Jeffries, that has not seen the ball in a while.
And he was their offense almost in its entirety in this second half. Whether they're just not getting it to him or Kentucky has closed the door on him.
Well, they've been guilty of a little bit of over-penetration, taking a little bit too far in that initial surge and turning it over about 3 times in a row.
He has 10 of his 16 points in this half. Estill backs in on Aston. And Aston blocked the shot. Nice defensive play. That's his 12th block shot of the year. It's going to stay in Kentucky's hands, though.
Kirk Haston again getting caught behind, this time making a superior play up top. That's all ball. Haston's house of leather.
He reminds me of Tom Gugliotta a little bit.
He does. He's got a terrific touch. Alternating possession.
Yep. Wanted to make sure on the arrow, so Ed Hightower went over to make sure. His Blevins around a pick, almost took the shot, and he is fouled. He got Haston in the air just enough, and now the big fella has 4 fouls.
That was a nice shot fake by J.P. Blevins.
Look at the second half shooting. This is what Jay was talking about a minute ago. Bogans hasn't missed.
11 of 12, usually pretty good.
Not bad. And remember, Prince, 4 of that 5. 2 of those are 3-pointers.
I went to watch Kentucky practice in October. And one of the things that Tubby Smith said to me was, last year we were not a good shooting team, but part of the reason was because we were not a good passing team.
Makes sense when you think about it.
Well, tonight they've been a very good passing team, and that, in my judgment, in large measure, is why they've shot the ball so well.
Last year they were about 42% from the field. This year, about 46%. Tonight they're lighting it up. Tonight they're 27 out of 39 from the floor.
Take those turnovers away, and you've got a juggernaut. Boy, you're not kidding.
Nice hook pass down low. Fitch looking for some room, found it. Good looking pass from Prince. Fitch scores it.
All of a sudden, Tayshaun Prince, a point center.
Here's a finger roll off the glass by Andre Owens.
Owens brings a lot of energy into the ballgame. A terrific athlete. Probably his best game against Temple when all of the Hoosiers seemed confused by that defense. He just attacked it.
Fitch looking at Estill, brings it back on top. Estill, little half hook, didn't get it. But stolen away by Fitch and a foul by Jeffries.
And look who's around the ball.
You're right. You called that way early.
Jeffries grabs the rebound and brings it down. And Fitch was waiting there to knock it away.
Checking in the lineup for AU, number 32.
That's a guy taking great pride in the little things of the game. It's not all about hitting threes. You can impact the game by getting down and rebounding. And guards, as he is proving, can be good rebounders.
Saul Smith comes back in. Hasn't scored, but has had good floor leadership.
But how about the game that Saul Smith had at Michigan State? In a game that was 46-45. 10 assists on 18 field goals. That is
buckets.
remarkable.
That really is. You don't see that very often. So Fitch gets 1 of 2. He's got 10 points. 4 Kentucky players in double figures. Here's a long ball. 3 won't go. Bogans had a hand on it and got bumped in the forehead by somebody.
Somebody shot Keith Bogans out of a cannon. His head was rim high.
That is his second team 10.
Hornsby got him.
Take a look at the rise here on the part of Keith Bogans. All right, maybe not rim high, but he got up there.
He's been up for this game and has been a major factor in what looks like it's going to be a Kentucky victory unless Indiana turns it around in a serious hurry. 3:49 left. The lead is 16. That's the biggest of the night, and Bogans is looking to add to it. He has 21.
Maybe I was just confused by Bogan's head. His teammates tease him a little bit about the size of that melon of his. Good-naturedly, of course.
It's a 17-point Kentucky lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Castaway, directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Tom Hanks, now playing in theaters.
Kentucky leading by 17. That's the biggest advantage they have had all night long. And they have really gone to work in this second half with 3:49 left. They've got this one, it appears, in hand. And they've done it with a Keith Bogans and Tayshaun Prince combination. Prince has worked inside with that hook shot back and in. Bogans has done some muscle work underneath, but also he and Prince have taken it outside with a three-pointer. 2 for Tayshaun this half. The lob to Bogans. Those two have worked brilliantly together. They've combined for 40 of Kentucky's points. Look at the field goal shooting by Kentucky in the second half. I've done a lot of Kentucky games. I don't think I've ever seen them shoot this well.
80% field goal shooting in the second half. That is magnificent. It's been a very efficient half of basketball for Kentucky on both ends of the floor.
Indiana led this game 45-44 at the 16:37 mark. Since then, a 34-16 advantage for Kentucky. Don't forget SportsCenter follows us. There's a three-pointer. That'll help. As Hornsby knocks it down.
Indiana's got to get back to what they did in the first half, force turnovers.
I don't know if they got enough time to do it. They can trade turnover and three-pointers on both ends a few times. They can get back in this thing. Kentucky has handled it much better in the second half. It's been Indiana with the turnover problems, and Bogans has 24.
Smart play by Keith Bogans, waiting for that defense to break down.
On the other end, Kentucky goes down and sticks it back in as Odell didn't take too much time to get the layup. 80-66. The Cats in front with less than 3 to go.
This is where Kentucky has to show they can put a game away. Grab big defensive rebounds, step to the line and hit free throws. And execute at the end of a clock.
They had leads, albeit close leads, against Georgia Tech and Michigan State and lost both those games. This one would seem to be an insurmountable lead that they've got in hand. Bogans, baseline drive, trying to get it to Fitch, and nice defensive play by Hornsby, who threw it in and off a Kentucky player. And now the Hoosiers need some instant offense on the other end. Fife kicks it out. Three-pointer is short, and it's a foul, though, by Saul Smith, and that's 3 free throws coming up.
Not a good decision by what is usually a very good and smart point guard. Fouling a jump shooter, especially a three-point jump shooter, is not what you want to do in any circumstance, but certainly not toward the end of a ball game when you allow Indiana not only to score points without any time going off the clock, but they can set up their defense.
Owens has only shot 7 free throws this year, but he's hit 6 of them. He's looking right now to go 9 out of 10 on the season. He would like to take this free 3. That was the 4th foul as well on Saul Smith, who sat out a good portion of this second half with that foul trouble.
Tough stretch for this Indiana team, not only playing Charlotte at Assembly Hall, followed by Missouri, and having to come here against Kentucky, and a team that's still trying to find itself. How many obstacles can you put in front of a group of players, not to mention coaches? With the whole Bob Knight saga, it's got the whole state and not knowing what to do. It's the state of Indiana in need of counseling.
Well, those 3 free throws, and indeed they were free, stopped the clock, cut the lead down to 11. Here's Tayshaun Prince alone on the baseline, missed a jam. Stone doesn't miss the second chance, though.
Boy, what a nice ball game by Marvin Stone.
Sure has been. 12 points. He had 3 block shots in 3 consecutive trips down court. If he missed that in the first half, he's going to be a happier Wildcat tonight. Little roll shot off the backboard is good.
That is one where you may say, hey, Marvin, block a shot. We don't need you taking charges. Let the little guys do that. You swat them away.
So Andre Owens, who just hit 3 free throws, has a chance for another 3-point play of a different variety if he hits this. He's not going to miss a free throw. Not the way he's stroking it. So the lead's down to 10. Still hope for the Hoosiers and their fans. Not exactly anybody leaving this building, I'll tell you that much. Kentucky, I talked about how close their losses have been. We mentioned earlier 5 losses by a total of 14 points. At Georgia Tech game, Sean Fine hit a jumper with 1.3 seconds left. Michigan State survived earlier this week by 1. Penn State, UCLA, and St. John's by 5, 5, and 4. So that's how you end up with your worst record in 12 years. They might get their Christmas wish. It might come unwrapped a couple days early.
Well, what they need to do is do a better job of finishing a game. They had this game put away if they handled things right down the stretch.
They were up 17 a couple minutes ago.
But, you know, you foul a three-point shooter, then another foul trying to take a charge when you should probably let a guy go.
Right.
And all of a sudden it's a 10-point ball game with a three-point shot. You're letting Indiana back into this game.
At 3:49, it was 78-61, and now, as Jay said, it's a 10-point ball game, and still plenty of time left. Rupp Arena West, about 70 miles west. We'll be at Rupp Arena a lot this year, obviously. Sports Center will be following us. Saul, you might have had foul trouble tonight, but what a cheering section you've got. He's back out there with 1:39 to go. And they foul Stone immediately. And now we'll get into the whole foul situation, and this last minute and 37 seconds will take about 23 minutes probably. Coming up on Christmas Day, reminder to tune in to ESPN at 1 o'clock Eastern. Terrific holiday system for you, as we'll have the Best of Sports Center hosted by Dan Patrick and Stuart Scott. From Tiger Woods to the Yankees three-peat to Bob Knight's dismissal at Indiana. The show will look back at the year that was, as only Dan and Stuart can do it. Best of Sports Center on Christmas Day on ESPN.
Tiger Woods was taking in a little college basketball last night.
Well, his team won at the buzzer, or just before the buzzer.
How does he get those front row seats?
I don't know. He can get tickets to just about anything. Well, he gets all those free clothes and balls and spikes.
Indiana's got to get some shots up in a hurry here. Too much time to be selected.
Hornsby looking for the range. I don't mean Bruce Hornsby in the range. That one was way off the mark, and now a foul on Owens. You mentioned Kentucky's come into this game with those 7 NCAA titles.
Hey, let's go.
774 wins, and you look at Kentucky and UCLA, Indiana, North Carolina. Nobody's had an easy start. There aren't a lot of easy games. There have been a lot of early season non-conference games that were killer schedules for a lot of teams. Not a lot of patsies out there, at least early this season.
And they see that name on the chest. Indiana, Kentucky. They come at you just as hard as when you've got a national championship team.
Of course, you look at the Raptors here at Freedom Hall, Louisville. Denny Crum with a couple of national championships in the 80s. Blevins got the second.
Yeah, I put one of those banners up there. It's not for me. Perhaps Purvis wouldn't have put one up.
Down to the final minute 20. And traveling violation. Owens probably doing or trying to do a little bit too much by himself, trying to make something happen.
You cannot overstate how big of a win this is for Kentucky.
You're not kidding.
It's a young program that's not a young program, a young team that's trying to get some confidence. And this is an important step in regaining that confidence. Because I think this can be a very good basketball team.
It's the final week of the NFL regular season. I know you football fans know that. You can tune into ESPN on Saturday as the Bills take on the Seahawks. And then on Monday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys in what will be an important one for the Tennessee Titans. ESPN and ABC, your exclusive home for primetime football. This has been some primetime basketball tonight. And Keith Bogans has had a night to remember. He's a free throw away from a career night, as a matter of fact. If he hits this one, it's the best he's ever done as far as scoring. And that doesn't even count what he's done defensively. and as an assist man and scrambling all over the place. New career high, Keith Bogans, 26 points. Three-pointer doesn't go. Stone with the outlet to Blevins to Smith. Kentucky trying to spread it out and use a little clock. As we're under a minute. And now the Kentucky fans know it.
This is the kind of performance that Kentucky has been waiting for from not only Keith Bogans and Tayshaun Prince, but also from their big guys. I thought Jason Parker and Marvin Stone did a very nice job of staying aggressive and defending inside.
10 on the shot clock. Prince finds himself a little alley. Tayshaun Prince has 20. So he and Bogans, we said, when they go, Kentucky goes, and those two have 46 points between them tonight. Inside, nice drive by Owens.
Basket by Owens.
Some backcourt pressure again. There was once a story about Kentucky basketball when they recruited 3 or 4 high school All-Americans in one season. And one of the people said, well, who are we going to get next year? That's what you face when you're a Kentucky fan or a Kentucky basketball coach. And this is a huge, huge monkey off the Wildcats' back right now because they've had so many close losses. And with a program with all the pride in the world, didn't want to fall to 3-6. They didn't. They win it easily tonight. Not too easily, but in the second half they dominated. 88-74 is the final. That's going to wrap it up for us. Have a great Christmas, everybody. For Jay Billis and our entire crew, I'm Brad Nessler. Sports Center's coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.